Good morning. Welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. And since we already hit hype train level 5, Carla Marie, line them up. It is time to rip some shots. We got a lot to talk about today.
Rip some shit.
Rip some shits. That is what we are going to do. And we can do this in honor of two things, obviously. We got some Irish whiskey because tomorrow is...
St. Patrick's Day. It's why I'm wearing green. Am I low? I feel low.
You're not low. You're fine. Trust
My
me.
ears are low.
That's your ears problem.
Can you make them a little louder? Pour it up. Pour it up.
I think these are you. Okay. How about that?
Oh, I didn't talk. Sure.
Okay. So not only is tomorrow St. Patrick's Day, but it is one of the most important days in my life.
Oh, yeah.
It's my mom's birthday because
Sure
without
is.
my mom's birthday, I wouldn't be here.
Isn't it so crazy that such an Irish family has a birthday on St. Patrick's
I know
Day?
we are very, very Irish, as you can tell. Very, very Irish.
I feel like that birthday is just like lost on your family.
It is a little bit.
Because if you were Irish or like just plain white American, you'd be like, yeah, my birthday is St. Patrick's Day.
We'd be in the city, marching in the streets, all of those things.
Plain white American.
Plain
That's
white
my band.
Americans. Where is the chat?
Oh, we're only 33% through level 5.
Oh, really? Well, we'll get there.
Okay.
I trust you guys. We're going to get there. I thought we were through. It said level 5 complete. Where's our chat? Oh, yeah, 33%. Who knew?
So happy birthday to Mama Tones. If it wasn't for her birth, we wouldn't have you.
That is true.
Neon Climber said they found out they're actually Irish from 23andMe. Well, look at all those years you missed out celebrating. Got to catch up.
Yeah, but how much Irish? How much? Like, what's your percentage?
You know what I realized, though? That we've never celebrated St. Patrick's Day, like, in Seattle. And I don't mean that we weren't here. We just never went out for any festivities. Like, in Jersey, I feel like I did all the time. There was a parade yesterday, I think.
Yeah, but you got here older in your life, too.
I did. But I just thought it was very interesting. I'm like, I don't even know what people here do.
They're the same thing they do everywhere.
Should we go to that place? That Irish bar that's got the little darts?
we could. We could do that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Does New York, New Jersey have the highest concentration of Irish in America?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, where else would they be?
Everywhere. They're everywhere.
I don't know about that.
But I think they're... I don't know. It's a good question. I wonder if, like...
Oh, Boston. Duh.
Boston's
Good job,
very
guys.
Irish.
Thank you. I saw that. Dropkick Murphys are Boston? Are they from originally? Or
Yeah, I believe so. What are you doing over there? Oh. Okay, well, let's get the show going. Let's get the show on the road.
Okay.
Cheers to you, Carla Marie.
Oh, so we're cheating.
No, we got it. We got to level 6. Cheers to you. Cheers to everyone who supported the stream. And cheers to our friends at Seattle Cocktail Club who gave us this bottle of Slain Irish whiskey. Woo!
Man, why do they... Okay. Do they have other options to drink at the Irish bar?
Listen, Irish whiskey, it's always going to kick you in the throat a little bit.
But it's good.
But this one Slain is actually easier to drink than a lot of other Irish whiskeys.
I like Irish whiskey better than bourbon.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Big time. Like by 120%.
See, I enjoy sipping on a bourbon.
I don't.
Just leave it, Carla Marie.
I know.
Just leave it.
I can't. I'm not built to just leave it.
Just leave it.
I
It's
am
going to
not
happen
built
again.
to
It's
just
going to
leave
happen
it.
again. That's the Carla Marie squirrel today. Chase that thing around. So what do we have on the list today, Carla Marie? Go for it.
Carla Marie's big interview. That's me. Living liver donor. That is not a joke. That is actually what it is.
Yeah, that's actually a serious topic today.
No more toilet paper. And just a little reminder, we have no show next Thursday. You will be able to find out why we have no show, but you won't know until Thursday evening.
After it happens.
Yeah. And we have Carnival of Cocktails coming up April 1st. Not an April Fool's joke. It is an awesome event here in Seattle, 21 and over. It is a ticketed event. Code CMA gets you $10 off, but it truly is a carnival of cocktails, but think about like, when you go to a job fair and you go to each like booth and you're like, oh, I want to see what job I want. This is that, but way more fun.
Yeah, a lot of samples that are given out.
All the samples, and every like alcohol companies have the best promo.
Yeah.
So they have like free T-shirts and pins and sweatshirt, like all kind of things.
I still have the pin from last year of the rabbit orgy.
Yeah, Bunny Bros.
Bros.
You, John, and Baby Jake were the Bunny Bros.
I don't remember the brand, but their logo, or the pin at least, it's 3 bunnies on top of each other, and it really looks like they're going at it.
I mean, they are. Martha said we should give away flights to Seattle. I honestly, though,
I bet you...
not in this climate.
What do you mean?
2 climates. The climate of flights are very expensive, and the climate of who the hell knows what's going on a flight these days, because sometimes they're just almost about to bang into each other.
I think we're fine. The airline industry is fine.
I think people should stop flying because it's so dangerous.
Are you trying to bring the price down? I don't think it's going to work, Carla Marie. But I think that if we pitched this idea to Seattle Cocktail Club when we see them this week, I think they, for next year, could probably make it work if we did it early enough. Because they are amazing at getting partners on board and partnering up with different companies and industries.
But here's the thing with, like, if a company does a giveaway like that, or we do a giveaway with them, other than that's an awesome thing to do for everyone that joins in every day, normally there's, like, something behind it for the company. Like, why are they doing this? Like, to get people to sign up for something? Yeah. It's not like people that don't live here are going to buy tickets to the event anyway.
No. Wait,
I'm trying to see the marketing behind it.
For who?
A Seattle Cocktail Club.
It's bigger brand representation.
Okay.
More people joining. And then for Delta, it's letting people know they have, great routes to Seattle from a lot of places around the world.
Okay.
So that would, for like a Delta, Alaska Airlines, maybe even American.
All right, we'll get Delta on the horn.
Yeah.
Sarah, I love this idea. She said, I have an idea for games in the morning show. Singles week. You can pair up people in similar locations. Now, do you mean like singles as in they signed up as one person, or single as in like this is now the dating game?
No, I think single as in ready to mingle, and they live in the same area.
That makes people very uncomfortable.
No, we're not saying we set them up, but they play each other, and you know what? Maybe if they hit it off, they have each other's emails.
Oh, she said no single as in dating show.
Yeah. We did this dating show, and I actually really liked the idea.
It made me so uncomfortable, but it was so good. Like, uncomfortable in a good way. Not uncomfortable in, like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
The dating idea, we did it on Power 93.3. And this is the funniest thing about that radio station specifically, is you could call it the height of Power 93.3. Like, the station was doing really, really well. Like, we had all these new ideas. We had a great staff.
The best ratings, time of my life in
the ratings
radio
were
was
great,
then.
Especially compared to what the ratings were for years.
It's truly, if you're watching a movie and there's a record scratch, and like the main character's like, my life is so great, record scratch. That was what we were at with Power 93.3 when they were like, hey, we're going back to Cube.
Yeah. So while the station was trending upwards, doing so well, we had this idea, and it was the dating game. And we would take one main person, the lead, if you were talking about a dating show on TV, and we'd match them up with 3 people from the area. And it was like speed dating, but also gamified at the same time. And They had to get rid of someone in the first round. Then we'd come back from commercials. Then they would get rid of more people, or the second person, because they got to spend more time with the other 2.
They had 30 seconds to pitch themselves.
It went 30 seconds and then a minute of like questions, like rapid fire questions. And we actually, for 1 or 2 of them, we set them up on an actual date.
One we set them up on a date, and one we set them up on the date, and we went to the date. It was the Mariners game. And we sat behind them. Well. Yeah, and the girl was like, yeah, I gotta go. I'm not into this. And we were like,
But it worked. But she went out there. She had a good time. She got a free game. The seats were incredible.
Seats were sick.
And her friends all went to the game. They bought like standing room seats, basically, or tickets.
I can't.
So it's good times. What? What are we doing?
I feel like we've talked about this before, but this person's username.
Oh.
In the chat, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a person in our Twitch chat, and their username is Remember Wife Birthday 10/23/93.
Well, happy birthday to your wife in
October.
October.
You know what? We stan a man or woman
All for it.
who does that.
All for it. And you know what I liked about the dating bit that we did on Power 93.3? And this, I will be full transparency. The first one we did, we used, I don't remember if we used Friends or if we used like a service
I don't
because we
think
wanted
so.
to try it out. No, there was one.
Like a pilot episode?
Maybe we didn't air that one.
I think we tested it on ourselves. I don't think we aired that. I don't remember
Man,
that.
it's so hard to remember between the pandemic and all the craziness. It's so hard to remember. There's a chance. Let me just say this. There's a chance the first one you heard wasn't a legitimate dating show because we had to test it.
The only reason I don't think so is because we have said they done after the weekend.
Huh?
Like when they went on their date.
No, we could have. I mean, that's so
I
easy.
guess.
But we, after that, whether it was a pilot that we did and never aired or maybe we aired it, I don't remember. But after we tried it out, those were real people that signed up and actually trusted us to.
And now we can't get people to sign up to play a music game.
No, we've had a lot of people.
We've had hundreds.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people play that game, and we still have people signing up.
Martha said, I picked my kid's birthday so it's easy to remember. What are we doing with these numbers then? 1383. That's the year they were born?
Her kids were not born in 83.
You should take them to a doctor.
Her kids were not born in 83.
No, 1383.
Oh, the year 1383. Let's see. Molly, hello.
Oh.
That's her birthday.
1/3/83.
January 3rd, 83. That makes sense. What else do we have?
No
in the chat
more
before?
numbers and usernames when I'm president
Why is that?
because it's confusing.
I don't think it's very good. I mean, if it's remember wife birthday is actually not confusing because that's a whole
that
thought
makes
right
sense,
there.
right?
But normally I would say that's too many numbers if it's not.
Yeah.
Unless it was like my address is.
Yeah.
Here's my address. My phone number is.
I decided something we're gonna do
What's that?
leading up to the 2024 presidential election. Once a week or once every other week, we're going to do like a campaign thing. We're going to run against each other.
Okay, like a debate?
Yeah, I have things that I'm going to do when I run for president.
I would smoke you.
No, because you're going to be like too serious.
No, I would absolutely.
You're not going to take it, you're not going to have fun with it.
Oh, I will. I will. And here's the best thing about being a guy in an election. We can have fun. The second a woman has fun in elections, people are like, she's not taking it seriously.
Exactly
See?
why America's going to hate you.
No, it's true. I speak truth. You might not like it, but I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm not going to tell you how I want it.
Is that going to be your campaign slogan?
What?
You may not like it, but I'm going to tell you how it is.
Exactly. For once, we're going to have an honest, fake president. It's going to be me. It's going to be me. It's going to be me. So, I don't know why it does that all the time.
I like it. It's like a drum, like.
Moving on to the list, though. Carla Marie's big interview. Let's talk about it. So, I had mentioned, I think since last week.
Well, to me, it was 3 weeks.
That there was going to be a big surprise for Carla Marie. It was going to start yesterday, and it was going to continue and then finish today. Okay? So, yesterday, you had no idea where we were going. We left the house around 6:15. We drove up to Queen Anne, and then I'll let you take it away.
Once we were getting to Queen Anne, I was like, okay, we're clearly doing something at Climate Pledge Arena.
Stevie Nicks was there?
And there was an event going on. And I was like, well, it's not a Kraken game. It looks like there's like a Grateful Dead concert, like based off of what people were wearing. It ended up being a Stevie Nicks show, and I was not going to Key Arena. Then I was like, what the hell else is in the Seattle Center? There's Chihuly Glass Museum.
Space Needle?
There's a million things that could have happened there. It's just a big center for everything. It would be like taking someone to Times Square and be like, you never know what we're going to do here. So then I find out we're going to a movie screening for A Good Person, which is starring Florence Pugh, Molly Shannon, Morgan Freeman, and directed and written by Zach Braff. And Anthony's like, you're watching this movie because tomorrow we are going to a press interview of Zach Braff. Like, not a live stream, not a Zoom, like here in Seattle.
Just you and him in a room.
I'm going to be interviewing Zach Braff.
Mm-hmm. Is it just me or is Carla Marie echoing? It might just be you.
So
There shouldn't be a reason for an echo.
he also came to the movie screening at the very end, and he answered questions. It was really cool. Like, he's such a chill dude.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, all right, good. He's gonna be chill. Here's the thing about this movie: 26 days filmed, whole thing, in South Orange, New Jersey. Literally, at one point, he's
Home
like,
of Seton Hall University.
at one point, I'm like, Anthony, that's a Seton Hall sweatshirt in the background, and he's like, no. I'm like, I'm telling you. And the extra, walks into view, and we're both like, it's a Seton Hall sweatshirt.
And the context there, like Z from NYC said, he is from New Jersey, and he's
from South
specifically
Orange.
from South Orange and Maplewood. He
Yeah.
lived in both places.
Yes.
And this is something, and if I'll probably talk to him a little bit as we're setting up and breaking down and stuff, but that's like one of my life goals, is to be able to do something on a large enough scale
Yeah.
where I can represent where I'm from. Now, for me, there would be two parts. There'd be my Middle Eastern background, but there would also be Ridgewood, New Jersey, or New Jersey in general. And Zach Braff has now done that twice.
Yeah,
The first
Garden
time
State.
with Garden State, which is more of a cult classic.
Mhm.
And then this movie, A Good Person, we're going to talk about it next week as well. But I'm saying this now before we actually get to meet him, because we've seen a lot of previews, right? Or screenings.
Movie screenings.
Movie screenings. And you're not going to hear me say this about any of the other ones we've seen. And Zach Braff has not had a chance to butter us up or pay us off or anything yet. That is one of the best movies I have ever seen.
Ever.
And I say that as more of like,
Cinematically.
yeah, it's more of a film, I guess, if you will.
It's not like, oh yeah, I loved Wedding Crashers because it was so much fun. Like,
Yeah.
it is. I need to know if this is something that you don't say to people.
Oh, what?
It's Oscar worthy. Can
I
someone
don't-
tell me if you're supposed to say that to someone
I don't know.
before this interview? Because when I tell you right now, if that movie is not nominated, I don't care what other movie comes out this year. It is. The acting is so good. It is uncomfortable so
Yeah.
many times. Like, I noticed one thing, and there's a scene when it's Florence Pugh and Morgan Freeman at the diner, and I realized, I'm like, this scene is going on so long in a good way. You don't see that anymore because everything is so quick, and the scenes are long and real, and the movie is so raw. And we're also saying this as not movie critics,
Oh,
right?
no,
Like, we don't. This isn't our job. I mean, it is, but it's not. Like, we're not movie critics. And I'm gonna tell him this. It made me realize I haven't seen a great movie in so long. Like, something that makes you feel everything, makes you question things that you think about humans, about people. It's not like
You said humans?
humans and people. It's not like an Avengers movie. You said that.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh,
exactly.
you know, you go to see an Avengers movie for a certain reason, to be entertained. This movie makes you feel all the things. It makes you empathetic or sympathetic to the characters.
Here's why I don't think it's an Oscar movie, Carla Marie.
Why?
And it's hard because no one's seen this movie, and it doesn't have like a big marketing budget, so I don't think a lot of people have even seen
But
a
that's
preview.
honestly most Oscar movies.
But it's like an independent movie. Like, it's got a very small budget.
But
I
it's
feel like,
MGM.
yeah, I just don't know. It's got Morgan Freeman.
Anthony, stranger things have happened at the Oscars.
That's true.
You've never been.
Neither have you.
I will tell Zach Braff, I used to be in SAG-AFTRA and vote for movies, just so he knows.
Did you actually ever vote?
Yeah, often.
I don't think I ever voted.
Oh my God, we used to get the screeners, and I used to watch them, and then I would.
I have some screeners over there. Beast of No Nation. I got that screener still.
And it's got like a special number on it, and it's like, if you give this away, you will literally go to prison.
Yeah, the number's on the screen the whole
And I
time.
would like throw them in the trash, and I was done because I was so scared.
But it was an incredible movie, and for those who don't know, and I feel like we've talked a lot about New Jersey this week between the basketball teams. We had Jax on yesterday, who's from East Brunswick, and it's interesting. East Brunswick is right next to Rutgers,
And South Orange.
and South Orange is where Seton Hall University is.
Is that the address?
Yeah, I want to say 400 South Orange Avenue. 400, something like that. But there's also an entrance on Ward Avenue, but that's not the main one. That's like a side entrance. I do want to ask him a question.
Oh, I don't know if
Because
you're allowed. I'm doing the interview.
There's a scene, and if you're familiar with Seton Hall or that area, that they mention, oh, have you ever been on campus before? And they're walking around allegedly on Seton Hall's campus because there's a bunch of Seton Hall sweatshirts and hoodies and stuff in the back and t-shirts. That does not look like Seton Hall to me.
I wouldn't know.
I've spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, but dude, you're old. Like, it was so long ago.
Yeah, but they added it. There's way more trees. I would only imagine that
well,
there's
maybe
less
they
trees.
grew since you've been
I
there.
don't think
It's
so.
been years.
Yeah, it's a
There
tiny.
could be sequoias there by now.
I don't think so. Keene University. Is it Keene or Kane?
Kane.
It's
Kane like
University
rain.
is also down the road. Could have been Kane. Did you just burp into the microphone?
I tried to move away. The whiskey came up. Martha, well, I'll get to Martha's question in a second. Lisa said, am I going to Taylor ham or pork roll? I am. It's literally on my prep sheet to ask him that. So
anytime we talk to anyone who's from New Jersey, which we've done a lot, Halsey, Charlie Puth,
but we didn't
Jax,
ask them that.
No, but I feel like we need to go back.
Go back where?
And ask them.
Oh.
Who's the other one? Why can't I think of her name? Fletcher is also from Jersey.
That name gets me every time.
Fletcher? Yeah. She doesn't look like a Fletcher.
I didn't even know her. Okay, so Martha said, I need to know if you're given questions to ask or do you have to come up with them on your own? I'm stressed. So you have to come up with them on your own. A lot of times there are things that they're like, don't ask this, don't ask that. We haven't gotten that yet, I'm assuming. And they may tell us right before. For this, if they do that, I think... So when Zach Braff wrote the movie, he and Florence Pugh were dating and living together. He wrote her character for her. And normally, someone would say, don't ask him about their relationship, whatever. But he's been very open talking.
Yeah.
He talked, like every interview I read, he talked about it. He talked about it last night at the screening. So I can't see that that's something they would say don't bring up. But I've been going back and forth with, do I say to him, what is it like directing a movie with someone you were I work with my significant other. What is it like working? But I'm also like, who cares?
Well, here's the interesting thing that he did. Because yesterday, like Carla Marie had mentioned, he came to the screening. He did kind of a Q&A. We didn't ask any questions, but we sat there for it.
Yeah.
Before anyone had a chance to ask, when the first instance he had an opportunity to slide it in there, right? Like, oh, what was your writing process
partners,
like?
Yeah.
He would right away say, oh, at the time, Florence and I were dating, so I was able to come up from my writing room and ask her this question. And by throwing it out there, he B-rabbits it, like Eminem in 8 Mile. He takes away any ammunition if you wanted to ask a dating question because he just gave you the information you needed.
Mm-hmm.
To ask a question further, you're going to be prying into, oh, well, then what are you going to ask? Why did you break up?
No, and that's
Like,
my thing. I'm
and
like, that's not. You're here to. So many people who do these interviews try to get sound bites. They try to get clips. They try to get something that's gonna get picked up by all, because that's all it is now. You want it to get picked up by the New York Post, by Pop Sugar, by what the hell is the UK one? Daily News. Like, you want it to get picked up by all these places. This person is here to talk about something they did.
Mm-hmm.
They're not here to talk about their personal life. However, they are blending. So it is tough. But I do have questions about the movie and about the making of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And I have them all. And I think I only have a few, but I think that's going to be plenty because we're also going to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I assume he seems like he's a super chill dude. He said his family also moved out here from New
I was
Jersey.
so confused because as he's doing this Q&A thing at the end of the movie, he mentioned, we filmed in South Orange, New Jersey, and then I cheered, but then I heard like a dozen other people
And we were
hooting and hollering.
And he was like, yeah, I have family here.
But for a moment before he said that, I was like, are there a lot of South Orange people
No.
in Seattle?
He's like, my brother and his family moved out here. They're Seattle people now, which literally is what you don't ever hear anyone say, oh, they're New York people now. You don't hear that when people move to cities. My parents say that, they're Seattle person. She's a Seattle person. My parents say that all the time. So I was like, that's so strange. So after it's all over, I guess it was his manager. She came up, she's like, oh, you're his family, right? I was like, no, we're just from New Jersey. I think they're behind us.
I want to pull up this comment from Chris. He said, Zach seems to be handling the situation in such a classy way that I would ask him what advice he would give to others in similar situations or going through a breakup in general. You can ask him what we should do when we break up.
I'm gonna.
You should say, I also work with my significant other when he's dumps
behind
me.
The camera.
When he dumps me or I dump him. How do you think we should act? That's a great question, or a great start to a question. Also, this is Felipe from Miami, Florida. Whenever he talks,
to promote the movie. He's always been a fan of Florence before and still after the relationship.
Yeah, he was very complimentary of her.
Yeah.
During that.
She, like...
I think Z from NYC said they went to the premiere together.
In London. I don't know if they went together or they just walked the carpet together, it looked like. All of it means different things, which is crazy, but she has a new boyfriend. I saw.
Already?
I saw.
So soon.
Should we talk about some of my questions?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the stupid ones. There's a scene in the movie where they have pizza for dinner.
Don't give us all the questions.
Why?
Because then no one's going to watch the interview.
They want his answers.
Maybe they don't.
There's a scene in the movie where they have pizza for dinner. Was it a local pizza place or did someone on set make it?
I'm really hoping it was Bunny's Pizza in South Orange.
Okay. Taylor Hammer pork roll.
Okay.
Is their essential jersey?
Okay.
What compelled you to sit down and start? Because obviously there will be more to it. So these are just like the basic questions. But he wrote this during COVID. So like what made him literally sit down? Actually, I'm going to ask. Hold on. I'm glad we're doing this, guys. What was the first thing you wrote?
That's a good question.
I have to paint my nails.
This is a question. Good question. Well, you don't have a lot of time once we're done with the show.
Well,
you've got about 40 minutes before we got to be out of here. So maybe you should have woken up earlier and done some things.
You said this is a good question, then you disappeared.
Oh,
also,
yeah.
I went to bed at
how much time will you have for the interview is a good question.
I know you.
And I think 15 or 20 minutes, like not terribly long. But I was actually reading an article. I forgot who posted it, but it was like kind of a behind the scenes content creator, radio interviewer article. And it was saying how everyone always asks for more time. And everyone wants to have the Breakfast Club type of time where they're in there for an hour, or Elvis Duran time where they're in there for 30, 40 minutes sometimes. And the person writing the article was like, that's actually the worst thing to ask for. Because when you're first starting, and you're not starting out, obviously, you've done millions of these. But when people are first starting in any industry, whether it's TV or radio or digital, they want more time with artists or actors for their interview. And this author was saying, that's the worst thing you can ask for. You actually want less time. Because generally speaking, if you're just starting, the interview is not going to be that good. And less time, it makes you appreciate your time more. Mm-hmm. Get into the interview, ask good questions, and then move on. It was just a very well done piece.
It's so true.
Yeah.
If someone's like, all right, here's an hour, and you don't know what you're doing. I mean, listen.
An hour is a long time.
We could end up talking to him for 20 minutes about New Jersey, not even on like we don't know.
He seems like he does love talking about New Jersey.
It's crazy, and I'm scared that we're going to end up doing that, and then the people are going to be like, okay, your time's up.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's a movie about New Jersey. And it's not just that it was filmed in South Orange. They mention South Orange. Like, it's a big deal in the movie. The shore is a big deal in the movie. Like, they don't go there, but they mention it a lot. And its proximity to New York is a big deal.
But what people don't realize when you're doing an interview, I think the word interview is actually misleading. Mm-hmm. I'm having a conversation with Zach Braff today about his movie. Yeah. I might get in there and literally ask one question. Actually, it's not about like, okay, and what did you do? It's not that. You can have a leading question, but a true interviewer asks follow-up questions, which just sounds so like 101. Mm-hmm. But if he says something, I'm like, well, but my next question is this. No, I need to ask about that because he's giving me this nugget, and if I don't take it, I'm not doing my job. Yeah. And I may get to none of these questions today because we may start out of nowhere talking about something else. Like, this is just a slate as if all goes to hell and I need to ask something or points about the movie, things to bring up. So yeah.
Martha says we should bring him some You Look Great merch.
I thought about that. He wears hats a lot, but
do we have any spare You Look Great hats?
No, but he doesn't wear dad hats. I don't think he wears like what did he have on yesterday? He had a Detroit hat on yesterday.
I thought it was a dad hat.
It was a little bit bigger brim than a dad hat, but not quite a trucker hat.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, like a hipster hat.
Kinda.
Like the flat brim hipster hat.
Maybe. No, not right. He would wear it. Stop. Because then here's my thing about like making you look great. Like go to a celebrity, then someone's gonna take it.
Yeah, that's fine.
And before you get into telling us a trademark, don't even ask. That's for another day.
But at least, even if other people take it, right? We know that we made it. Our people know that we made it. And we can still use it to promote our stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I feel so weird doing that. Like, oh, here's my hoodie. Wear it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Dad hats are hipster hats. There's a difference, though. Like, I can't explain
Dad hats
it.
are baseball hats. They're literally in the world of clothing, they are labeled as baseball hats.
Yeah, but they're like the beat up style of baseball, like the unconstructed. No, dad hats are like the unconstructed version of a baseball, like a fitted. Right? It's you wouldn't wear a dad hat on a baseball field if you were a professional baseball player.
Right.
So there's like the constructed new era type hats. Then there's dad hats. Then there's this weird hipster version of a hat. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
If you've seen it, you know it.
A lot of people saying give him merch. Here's the thing. It's not that we're like, oh, what if he doesn't wear it? It's not that. It's kind of frowned upon, I'd say. Like, we may never get asked to do another interview again if we do that.
Yeah.
So, it's not something we're about to do.
Now, I'm not saying that I won't have a sticker in my pocket, and if he starts talking about you look great somehow, maybe I'll wear a hoodie. Actually, no, I can't.
They said you look great in the movie at one point, didn't they? We looked at each other.
Yeah, but they say it in everything.
I'm going to ask him if he knows about that line.
There is a chance, although he is older than both of us, and he probably moved to L.A. before we started with Elvis. But there's a chance if he was in New Jersey.
I'm going to bring up Elvis.
He's definitely an Elvis listener at some point in his life. Because he's, 47?
Yes.
I've got to imagine that when he was going to Columbia High School, he was listening to Elvis Duran in the morning show.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. We'll have more on that, and we'll have the whole interview by the time we're live next week. The interview should be posted at least by tomorrow at the latest. Yeah. But thank you for playing along with our little surprise. Was it a good surprise?
Yes. I'm glad I didn't have to like do anything physical. I was just not in the mood.
Not this time, but maybe.
Should I talk to him about Kenny?
About your kidney stone? No, probably not.
What if I'm like, oh, Kenny?
I mean, if it hits in the moment, that's actually great content. But moving on, this is more. Not more serious. It's very serious what we're about to talk about.
The most kind.
Living liver donor, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Yes.
Until a month ago, basically.
So our friend Tracy, who we used to work with at Z100 in New York, she's no longer there anymore, but she was a member of the sales team and actually got us some pretty awesome deals. I remember one that we worked together on was a watch company. She and I, CARNIVAL, New York. It was one of my first ever sponsorships. She's amazing. Anyway, just a great person. Oh my God.
What?
Everything I've been saying just started typing in my notes about Zach Braff. So Tracy now needs a liver donor. She's gone through a ton, and I have notes here because I don't want to mess anything up. She's gone through a ton of treatment. So she's been battling liver cancer for 3 years now. She's done almost everything you can do before this point. So she needs a living liver donor.
Just a living donor.
Yeah, living donor. But what happens with your liver is they'll only take a part of it. And then it grows, like, whatever part they take from you will grow back within 3 months.
It's pretty crazy. Liver's wild.
I know. The human body is just absolutely insane. So you need to find out if you're a match. So we're going to put links in here in a second. Listen, we're not telling people, sign up to find out if this is something you really feel inclined to do or have always wanted to do. There's a link here to do that. There's also a donation link that will help Tracy with fees and the donor with travel fees and medical fees, all of that. And then there's also a Facebook group for the cause that if you want to keep up on information or if there's other ways you can help, it's all right there. I also included her name because you need that if you're going to sign up to be a living donor. She's based on the East Coast, if you're wondering.
And if you're watching this on YouTube later, by the way, in the description of this YouTube video, Carla Marie will have the info for you.
But I also found this out that the person who needs the transplant is in charge of finding themselves a donor.
Really?
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's like if you don't have enough to worry about.
I know.
You know?
But, I mean, all is going well right now with her where she's at medically with some treatment. She told me this week there were like 2 things that didn't grow and like 1 thing that did, but it's not as bad. It was something along those lines. But this is basically her, I don't want to say only hope, like the thing that she needs to start moving forward with after treatment. And imagine going through that during COVID, like
that's
3
true.
years of treatment. And she said the most common question people ask is, can you live without a liver? And the answer is no. You can give about half of your liver one lobe, and it grows back for both people. For me, they'll take out my whole liver and replace it with half of the donor liver. For both of us, it'll grow back to its complete size within 2 to 3 months. It actually starts growing back the second they cut it. It's crazy like a worm.
That is wild.
So if you feel like, you know what, I don't need this. So yeah, there's the update.
So this is a question from Sunali. Is a living liver donor anything like living kidney donors? Because a kidney donor post-op has a lot of lifestyle restrictions. I'm sure for the first 2 to 3 months while it's growing back, there's probably some restrictions.
But I don't think it's as.
But because you have 2 kidneys, you're normally born with 2 kidneys that are fully functional. Removing one changes the way you do have to live because you have to protect that one kidney because you can't lose it. The difference with this liver donation is your liver is supposed to grow back and be totally normal afterwards.
Yeah.
So that's how it's different. But I'm sure for the 2 to 3 months or beforehand, I'm sure there is some sort of prep and post-op that you've got to worry about or be concerned with or cognizant of. And then my understanding is after it's fully developed and grown back, you're good.
So I told Tracy, I was like, hey, we're going to mention this on our show because we have an awesome audience of people that you never know. They can pass along to friends and family. So I'm going to put it back.
Yeah, I've got to sign up and see if I'm a match. I've signed up before to see if I was a match for a blood marrow donation or bone marrow donation.
That's painful to hear.
Yeah, my friend Drew did it actually. Because his brother eventually lost his life after a second bout of cancer. But Drew did donate his bone marrow to his brother while he battled cancer the first time, I believe. And he said it was really, really painful. But obviously, if you're trying to save your brother's life, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Like you're going to deal with that pain, and you're going to,
of course,
gladly do it.
There was I don't know what organ it was for, but there was a video I watched on Instagram of a dad like waiting to go in for his treatment. And what happens with most of these things, your donor's information is actually kept private unless the donor's like, no, I'll meet them. Until sometimes you don't actually meet them. It can be completely private and quiet, whatever, the whole time. And the video I was watching was a dad in the hospital getting ready to go in, and he's about to meet his donor, and in walks his daughter with the IV.
Oh, and she's donating?
And the hospital gown, and he's like, no. Because you know that a dad would never want their kid to go through that. And I was like, ugh.
Yeah, that'll make you cry.
Damn.
Heather on Long Island asked a really good question. Do you know if there are donation age restrictions? Example, to donate bone marrow, you need to be over be 40 or younger. I don't know, but I'm sure all of that information is at those links. But are you asking Tracy right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. This is crazy. Helgien says, is it there? Yeah. My mom was going to be a living liver donor for my uncle, but he decided he didn't want her to do it. Her surgery was originally set for 9/11 in Manhattan.
I just got chills.
That is crazy.
So, did your uncle get a liver?
We don't know.
No, she will. That's why I asked the question. I'm not asking you. Damn.
And Tracy has not responded yet, right?
No.
Okay. Anyone over 18 can donate a liver, according to Lenny.
Age? Like, you can't be older than X. I used the wrong there because I wasn't paying attention. I just noticed it. And
I don't think it matters.
I ain't here for that.
Drown you out. For kidney donation, there isn't an age restriction, but there are health restrictions, which can make it more difficult the older you are. That makes sense.
Ain't nobody want my kidney. That's for sure.
With rocks?
It's got you're going to take this home with a resident already.
Kenny's going to be all up in there.
Oh, Tracy said ages of 18 to 60.
Okay.
It's
I
pretty
feel like that includes almost everyone here.
Yeah.
Most people here. But moving on, if you do want to
Feel free to reach out.
help, yeah, you can reach out. We'll try to answer whatever questions we can. If not, we'll pass them along to Tracy, who is the person who is looking for this living liver donor.
Yeah.
That is a hard thing to say because living and liver sounds so similar.
I know. I was like, live it. Live.
Next, this is, wow, what a turn here.
This is what we're about.
No more toilet paper. Now, this is not 2020. There isn't a shortage of toilet
Thank
paper.
goodness.
There are families who are ditching toilet paper. And you know, if you've listened to the Morning Show podcast, we have Hope for Humanity. A lot of times those stories are environmentally friendly.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but she just said something that's kind of important.
Oh, we're going to go from toilet paper
I'm
back
sorry.
to this.
She said for her specifically, she didn't tell me this earlier, it's blood type A or O and a BMI under 32, generally healthy, no cancer, etc.
I think my BMI might be over 32.
Mine is. I just got it measured.
But like, and this is why BMI is a weird thing. Because yes, it can give you some reasonable guidelines to live by.
For the average person, but if you're very muscular, it throws everything off.
Like The Rock's BMI is like 100. I think it's something crazy.
Like The Rock wouldn't be allowed. Well, I bet you
The
they
Rock,
do.
according to BMI, would be obese.
Right, but I bet you if they take you in for assessment,
Maybe.
they'll.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
The blood type is probably the most important thing to. So what was the blood type?
A or O.
A what?
It just says A, so I'm assuming in the A family.
Oh, it doesn't matter if it's like isn't there a positive and then negative?
I'm positive.
I'm dumb, so
I'm A positive.
bear with me here.
I'm A plus.
You're A plus?
Mhm.
That explains a lot.
What are you?
I have no idea. I knew at one point and I forgot.
But you have that weird blood thing. You should know.
No, the one thing I know about my blood type is I'm not supposed to donate blood, I guess.
What?
Yeah, there's some because I have what's it called? What do I have?
Mediterranean.
It's known as Mediterranean anemia, thalassemia. Thalassemia is the actual name of it.
Can't you not mate with certain people?
Oh, I don't know.
You've told me this before. I'm just trying to help you lead the conversation.
No, I'm not.
You can't have a baby with someone else who has that.
I don't know if that's true.
You literally said that to me.
I think you're mixing up stories.
Nope.
Whatever.
You told me it's extremely dangerous to the fetus.
I don't think I've ever said those words in my
Okay.
life.
Well,
So good luck. What's next? What do we got?
all right, we're good. We're moving on from the
Okay.
liver to
Back
blood.
To, back to toilet paper now.
Back to
This is what a weird day. So I saw this article, and it's about families ditching toilet paper. They no longer use toilet paper. They use cloth rags
Reusable.
that you can reuse. And I get it. I'm sure there was a point in time where this was totally normal, right? Like before the invention of toilet paper. I just don't think I will do I will get rid of all the straws. I'll get rid of all the plastic forks. I'm totally cool with inconveniencing myself to reduce
Like
the
if that's
amount
the only thing, yeah.
of waste in the world.
Yeah.
I'll turn off all my lights at 5 o'clock in the evening. I'll do whatever. I'll live by candlelight. I just don't. I don't like the idea of taking a cloth,
I mean, I'm not saying I'm against.
wiping my ass. I mean, you've got to put that in the wash
how many-
immediately, right?
Well, but then I would have a separate washing machine, I think.
There's so many problems.
Because I don't
So
want
many problems.
Because here's the thing: I have removed all cotton rounds from my life for over 3 years. I don't use.
Totally different.
Well, wait, I don't use any cotton makeup remover things whatsoever. I use Marleys Monsters, and they're these amazing like cloth rounds, and I put them in this little laundry bag, and I wash it. Now, what if I'm washing my face ones with my butt ones?
Yeah, I don't know if I like it. I like the idea, and I know. Trust me, I get it. There's no good way of disposing of garbage, right? Just because you put it in the garbage doesn't mean it goes to a good place and it disappears off the face of the planet. It goes to a place and it's buried. And I know that you flush the toilet paper down. It's not like it goes into a pretty little toilet paper container. It goes into some sewage line and then probably back into our water system at some point.
Okay, so the word bidet is coming up a lot. I know Sonali said she'd be more inclined to switch to a bidet, but I think it's funny that your brother Justin brings this up.
Yes.
Thoughts on replacing a toilet paper with a bidet? And the only one of the stories I know about your brother Justin and a bidet
Yeah.
is that as a child he was caught drinking out of one.
Well, it's something because I think your niece
oh,
also did, like this happened with her child, right?
my nephew Michael, he was just like, Daddy, water, water. And he went upstairs and he just had the bidet turned on. It was squirting everywhere.
Yeah, if you have a bidet and you have a child, that child is going to play in the bidet at some point. So you got to make sure that thing is clean. But I will say if you have a bidet and you're washing your butt and then
That's
using
the same
the
as
cloth
taking a shower, really.
to dry it, totally different. And I understand it a little more.
Yeah, I every few months I go through, okay, we're going to get a bidet. Even when I first moved in. But I need to find the right one for our toilet.
Oh yeah, because it's like how it
Because
connects.
I'm
right?
telling you, like there's something different where the way our piping is not built for, so there you have to get like a separate piece. It's every bidet I've looked up, it's a pain in the ass.
What?
Pain in the ass.
Huh?
A bidet.
Oh, see, I thought you were pointing to something in the chat.
But this is also a thing for baby diapers.
People are replacing baby. That's
With
way.
cloth.
That's almost worse.
My family makes fun of me. They're
Babies
like,
have like explosive
my family's like,
asses.
you're probably gonna have cloth diapers. And I'm all like, and I say, you know what? I'm gonna do it just because I will happily take off that cloth poop diaper and wash it because I know you're sitting home being like,
No, you know what you should do? You should tell your family that you use cloth diapers,
Yeah.
and anytime you send the baby over there,
That's when they have a cloth.
this theoretical baby, that's when they have a cloth
just
diaper.
a dishcloth with
Yeah,
a safety pin.
But at home, you just use regular. Like it's almost like a prank. You make your family deal with cloth shit diapers,
I'm in for
and
that.
then you don't do
There
it.
are, I forget what the company is that makes, it's almost like a diaper insert. I'm not saying I'm all for this. I just I don't fully understand how the product works, but it's like you reuse the outside and it's almost like a insert that gets tossed or cleaned or something.
Oh, so
it's
like less. That
yeah.
makes sense. Two parents here chimed in. Martha said cloth diapers are dumb. Jess from Minnesota said, I decided against cloth diapers because I didn't want to deal with the poop in the washer.
I think there's a separate machine you can use for it, but like, come on. Sam and I have talked about this at length because she's like, like these cloth diapers are cool. She's like, but I don't even have a washing machine in my own apartment. I'd have to get there's like a separate washer. She's like, I don't
so you got to carry it out?
No, but she would have to get a separate. She's like, I would have to put this baby's poop thing in my apartment,
Yeah.
and I don't even have one for myself.
There's different types of cloth diapers, and that's one option, says Crazy Dream Girl. But now, here's the question for all the bidet people in here, including my brother.
Do they have a baby bidet?
No. Well, I guess that's...
Little hose.
You just hold the kid over the bidet. If you use a bidet, are you not using toilet paper or using a cloth to dry your butt? Or are you still using toilet paper to dry? Just less toilet paper,
Yeah,
maybe?
I need to dry. I can't just bidet myself and then
Well,
put on my
of
pants.
course.
So yeah, answer that question.
I do know there are bidets that have like a dual nozzle. So you'll have like the water and then you'll have like an air dryer shoot air into your butt.
That's intense. We don't have that kind of money around here.
No, it's in a house.
Huh?
You said it's intense.
Crazy Dream Girl said, you don't need a separate washing machine. You rinse them before they go in the wash, and usually they sit in a bucket until wash day. That's true, though. Like, if you soil yourself, you rinse it and then put it in. You don't just put poop in the wash.
Oh, my brother said his bidet does have a dryer, too.
All right, Justin, send me your link.
Do you have a referral link, Justin?
I'm going to make one.
And I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. If you love the bidet, if you love...
It's a weird thing to say when talking about that.
Yeah, if you love the cloth diaper, that's you. And I'm happy. Here's the thing. I'm happy that you're doing it because you're taking on the ecological responsibility, making me feel less guilty about the fact that I refuse to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. If
someone
everyone
needs
else
to.
in the world used bidets and cloth diapers, that'd be great because I wouldn't have to worry about a thing. You know what I mean?
When we were in St. Louis, remember the hotel we stayed in, me, you, and Ricky on the road trip? It had a bidet, and we each were in there like, woo! Like yelling from the room, and the seat was heated.
I don't remember that at
Oh,
all.
I loved it. All right. Lenny said Costco has bidets, so I'm looking them up. I know Tushy is what they talk about at Elvis's show. $250.
Yeah, I mean,
But I guess in the long run, like how much you spend on the TP?
probably a lot.
You don't know.
Apparently, my brother's got the best
All right,
toilet
Justin,
in the world because it's
text
also
me.
heated.
Where you haven't texted me yet.
I don't think he remembers the brand. He said he has to think about the brand. I'm sure you could use like Google Lens.
It's gonna send you a toilet.
That's true.
All right, Justin, you better text me later.
Let's see.
That's true. Wise and Shine brings up a great point.
That's what I was
I
just
feel like
reading.
I read somewhere that the long-term effect of using a cloth diaper versus a regular diaper was actually minimal because of the water you use to wash.
It's fair. It's a different.
We're running out of
strain
water.
on
We're
the
running out of
environment.
space. I don't even know.
This is one of the depressing things you learn the more and more you look into how to be environmentally friendly. Is really like this is gonna sound so messed up. The best way to be environmentally friendly, just stop everything you're doing.
And stop making babies.
Like just
just
stop
what no one's gonna do.
everything, because you are right to a degree. All we're doing is shifting normally from one crappy option to maybe sometimes a less crappy option that uses more resources in a different way.
For example,
Like I'll say this right away. Recycling in general, like even recycling paper, there's a huge water consumption issue.
Mhm.
Because you're making the mash, you're
You gotta
making
make
more paper,
paper
you're
mache.
bleaching it oftentimes. It's a huge issue. But it's still better than maybe it's better in the long term than cutting down a crap ton of trees.
maybe.
Because when you cut down the trees and you don't recycle, now you have less trees and more waste. So now we're saying, okay, we don't want less trees and more waste. We want less waste and more trees, but now we have less water. Right, we're just moving pieces around
No,
in this like
I just have to find the lesser evil, I guess.
end of the world puzzle.
But also, like, okay, great, we got rid of plastic bags. Plastic sucks.
Mhm.
Plastic is bad on so many levels because then it gets, what makes plastic bags, gets in your water. Like, it's bad. But now we also have a tote bag problem.
Yeah.
Major, like, it is a major thing that people
And-
have written about. Like, there's so much, like, it's promo items. Like, we have so many tote bags.
And especially the plastic tote bags, because now you're just making
Mm.
thicker plastic bags. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Jolly Russian Buddha said recycling is the least, this is true, is the least useful of the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. And for the record, the reason they put recycle last was on purpose. You are supposed to first is reduce. That is the most important thing you can do. Reduce the amount of time you're in the car. Reduce or at least consolidate and carpool, things like that. Reduce the amount of things you buy, and that's the hardest thing. Everyone loves buying things that have been greenwashed. Oh, if you buy our product, we plant a tree.
But reduce, reuse, recycle
Mhm.
was something we learned in school.
Yes.
Actually, it's something of the woke mob. And if it was
Yeah.
if it was brought up today, it would be in freaking Congress. Like, we can't teach our kids the 3 R's. This is offensive.
Yeah.
Because that is no joke what they fight about
Yes.
today. However, I talk about this all the time, and I actually learned it wasn't just a thing that I grew up with in my town, because your mom mentioned something to me that made me realize you had the same recycle upbringing, if you will.
Same woke upbringing.
Same woke upbringing in 1995. So in elementary school, recycling, reduce, reuse, recycle was like drilled into our heads. Like, save the ducks from the oil spills. Cut the
cut
can plastics
Yeah.
so that they don't get caught on a duck or a bird. And I posted something about doing that, how like it was something about millennials will always do this, whatever it is. And your mom responded and was like, I do it all the time because Anthony came home from school and was like, Mom, you have to cut these. And I was like, man, Jersey had such a great, and it's funny because my dad is so strict about recycling.
Well, also
My dad, of all people.
in New Jersey, because this happens in Ridgewood, I'm sure it happens in North Arlington. There are fines.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to throw her right under the bus. My older sister has never recycled a can of anything in her life, throws everything in the garbage.
That's
you can
painful.
call her and tell her she sucks because I do it all the time.
And it's interesting. Recycling cans, I believe, is actually one of the things that gets recycled. Cans and glass
Yeah.
get recycled pretty easily, and those are reused. Plastic is the worst.
I know.
Um,
Well, there's certain kinds of plastics. That's why.
it's a
In third
mystery.
grade, I'm gonna totally forget part of this because it was a very long time ago.
Yeah, Ridgewood will find you, according to my brother.
And they should.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna. She'll never hear this. I want to write a fake letter to my sister with town paper letterhead and be like, if you don't start recycling, you will receive a fine. She'll probably then go to town hall.
Tell her she'll lose her house.
She won't care. She'd be more upset about the fine. Okay, so we went to like this recycle center that also had a learning center for kids, and we sat in this room and we like made hats out of recycled material, and we like did all these different things, and then we video chatted in the 90s with another classroom, and I think it was like somewhere on the opposite side of America or in the UK. Like I just remember being like, look, these kids are also, and we'd like talk to this other classroom.
Like a sister city, but recycling?
Yeah. And I was like, that's it. Like I'm never not going to recycle again. And I actually got my ex-boyfriend's mom to start recycling for the first time in her life.
Yeah.
She probably doesn't now, but.
Let's see. Sarah from Fort Lauderdale said Florida is the freaking worst. In terms of recycling, do they not? I feel like this is the interesting thing. I feel like if you live in a place that's as beautiful as Florida, say what you want about Florida, that state, the coastline is gorgeous. It is just a beautiful place. You would want to protect the beauty that you have around you.
Yeah.
Like in New Jersey, and yes, we have a coastline, but in New Jersey, there's some ugly parts of Jersey. I can imagine a lot of people being in New Jersey being like, fuck this place, I don't care. Pile up the garbage, who cares?
Yep.
But Florida is beautiful. And I feel like, especially with the fact that there's coastline around the entire state almost.
It's a peninsula.
Thank you. It's New Jersey's penis. You would want to protect New Jersey's penis. What? Tell me it doesn't
Florida
look,
is New Jersey's
yeah,
penis?
it just dangles there.
It's America's penis. Why are you saying
Oh,
New
yeah,
Jersey?
America's penis, not Florida's penis. Sorry.
You also just said what you said wrong.
It's America's penis.
You just said it's not Florida's penis. But you meant to say it's not New Jersey's penis.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I realized what I said.
Anyway. Protect the penis.
Yes.
Wrap it up.
Speaking of wrap it up, though, we actually have to get out of here because Carla Marie does need to do her interview with Zach Braff in a little bit, and I've got to go set up the cameras. So thank you. Thank you to everyone who joined us yesterday, by the way. We found out after the interview was over, Jax had an awesome time, loved seeing the chat. Because one of the things that she gets to see, she doesn't just see our camera, she sees the whole screen. So when I pull up, something like this on the screen, she was able to see those messages that we isolated.
That was so cool. So that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
The whole interview, is posted to YouTube if you want to go watch the whole show that we did or just the interview. It's all there. You can stream her song, Cinderella Snapped. I put the link to stream on whatever platform you listen on. It's also in the description of both YouTube videos. And we have the interview with Zach Braff today. The movie comes out in theaters next Friday, but like Anthony said, we'll talk about it next week and on the podcast.
Yep. And that interview will be on YouTube by the weekend. Thank you. There is a new episode of the Morning Show podcast available for you wherever you listen to podcasts. You can get your $10 off your tickets to Carnival of Cocktails. That's on April 1st. And we will be back here Monday in your eyeballs. See you on Monday.
Also, I think we have an announcement next week.
Maybe.